And Triple H is not stopping with Dakota Kai and Dexter Lumis and Karrion Kross and Scarlett and Hit Row. There are rumors about Sasha and Naomi. There's rumors about Johnny Gargano, but the rumors are intensifying on another name, Bray Wyatt. Could very well be on his way back very soon to WWE. Fightful Select earlier in the week reported that Bray's name has been brought up internally recently. They cited somebody in the company saying this about Bray Wyatt. I can't speak for him, but I know I've heard his name brought up, and I don't know how you couldn't feel better about coming in now if you were him. Additionally, it was reported that several current wrestlers have said that they would go to bat for Bray Wyatt, but they don't believe that he would need that to be brought back. The belief is that Triple H is operating with a clean slate, and the same grudges that were held under the old Vince McMahon regime would not apply here. Wade Keller was doing a PW Torch audio show. He confirmed the reporting on Bray, and he took it a step further by saying that it is very likely that he is going to be coming back to WWE. He said, I can back up Fightful's reporting that Bray is likely back soon in WWE. Last year, Vince McMahon considered Wyatt to be done with the company, and there was a narrative being pushed that, quote, came from those who worked directly with McMahon about Wyatt having a so-called bad attitude. McMahon reportedly said derogatory things about Wyatt's physique as well, and the feeling is that negativity towards him came after Wyatt pushed back on bad creative. Isn't it interesting how many times that we have read that so-and-so has a bad attitude, and that's what led to them either being taken off television or being de-pushed? That was the narrative with Bray Wyatt. And we come to find out that it may have had to do with him pushing back on bad creative. There was definitely some bad creative when it came to The Fiend. I know this because I saw it with my own two eyes. And frankly, if he had any input into that, part of that may have been Bray's fault. I'm not even going to put all that on Vince McMahon. But it's very interesting how daring to speak up about bad creative means that you have a bad attitude. You're not a team player. Remember the reports that leaked last year about Wyatt saying that he was let go because he was said to be difficult with? That was all the reports. He was difficult to work with. That had something to do with why he was let go. That's what happens when you speak up. You're branded as difficult to work with. Evidently, after your boss calls you a fat fuck. Top Dollar. Just got done talking about Top Dollar. We got similar reports last year. Bad attitude, difficult to work with. Now, I do remember him tweeting some really dumb shit on social media. And there was some kind of rap. I remember talking about this on the podcast. He did a rap on his own that he went and released about Jinder Mahal. He said he cleared it with Jinder. Jinder thought it was funny. But apparently he did not clear it with WWE management, and they forced him to take it down. But remember the real reason that Top Dollar got heat. WWE released BFAB, which caught all of them by surprise. They didn't just get rid of Hit Row. They got rid of BFAB. This is the beginning of November. 2 weeks later is when all the other Hit Row members were let go. Some people forget. They were not all released at the same time. Swerve Strickland was on Talk Is Jericho a few months ago, and he said that what happened is they noticed 1 week, beginning of November, that BFAB didn't get her flight information. They were getting ready to go somewhere, and she didn't get her flight, I guess, itinerary or whatever, and they were confused about why. So Top Dollar called to check to make sure that everything was okay. And they told him, everything's good, she's not needed this week. They're literally on the plane, going to wherever it is that they're flying to, and they find out while they're in mid-flight, I guess they had Wi-Fi, that she was part of the many, many names that were caught up in this mass wave of releases. When they got to the building, they all got scolded in the hallway by Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, and Johnny Hot Pants. I guess Top Dollar calling to check on her travel information was frowned upon, and they got yelled at for it. They said, you can't be doing that sort of thing. And then it was days later, they were gone too. That's what it was. That's what got them fired. They threw the entire thing out because of that. And you wonder why I celebrate the fact that Vince McMahon and Johnny Ace are gone. because of stupid shit like this. And this is just one story. This is just one example. There's probably a whole laundry list of stories like this that you would hear, you would read, and you would just scratch your head and go, that's why? That's why this person was pushed or taken off television or had their push killed or was let go? LA Knight. There's another one, saddled with this Maximum Male Model stuff. He allegedly dared to question the creative direction for his character. All of a sudden, we hear reports. He's got a bad attitude. He's rubbing people the wrong way. And he's taken off television, at least he was for that 1 week, without any explanation. He was advertised. And they have the segment, and it's his sister Maxine, and Massey, and Mansoir. But there's no Max Dupree. Where did he go? Lucky for him, it came right at the moment that Vince McMahon left and Triple H took over. And that may have been what saved his career, because now he's back on TV. Now he's still doing this gimmick. They're going to try to make a go of it. But at least he's employed. At least he's on television. That could have been the end of his career. But I'm sensing a pattern here. We'll see if Triple H is more tolerant of all these supposedly bad attitudes. But going back to Wyatt, I have no desire to see Bray, for the people who have suggested this, be the one to beat Roman Reigns. And I'm not saying a lot of people are suggesting it, but I've seen that mentioned. The idea being, in 2 weeks, it is going to have been 2 years since the Payback pay-per-view where Roman Reigns won the Universal title from The Fiend. We're only 2 weeks away from marking the 2-year anniversary of this championship run for Roman Reigns, and it was Bray Wyatt, it was The Fiend, who he beat to win that title. He's been the champion ever since. So, storyline-wise, if anybody would have a bone to pick with Roman Reigns, it would be Bray Wyatt. He's the one who ended The Fiend's run. I have no desire to see Bray Wyatt come back and be the person to beat Roman Reigns. If he does come back, honestly, I would rather he come back doing something completely different. Leave the Fiend stuff in the past. I think it played itself out already. The booking, they destroyed the Fiend. There's no need to go back to that. Bray's a creative guy. I would think that he would want to do something new, change up his look maybe, or whatever, when he comes back. Some wrestlers, they reinvent themselves. The Undertaker was always trying to reinvent himself. Chris Jericho talks about how he always tries to reinvent himself. Bray Wyatt, I think, has that same kind of personality. If we see him come back, I would not necessarily count on the fact that it'll be The Fiend. It could be some new version of Bray Wyatt that we have not seen before. One more WWE note. Mike Johnson, when asked for an update on the Vladimir Superfan documentary that WWE worked on, which was supposed to be released a year ago and it's been sitting in purgatory ever since, Johnson is very close friends with Vladimir. In a Q&A on PWInsider.com, he said that thanks to some kind people at WWE who went out of their way to do the heavy lifting, Vladimir was able to privately see the documentary a few weeks ago. He hadn't even seen it yet. They did this whole documentary on him and his life and his wrestling fandom. I figured he must have at least seen it. Apparently, he didn't even see it until a few weeks ago. But now he has, and he said while nothing has been said to him directly about this, he does think that we are a lot more likely to finally see this thing released under Triple H and Stephanie than we were previously. Triple H and Stephanie were the ones who presented Vladimir with the award, naming him their first official, it was like the first officially certified WWE Superfan. This was during night 1 of WrestleMania last year. And they took photos with him with the award. We might finally be closer to being able to watch this thing.